Hello students, how are you? Today we are going to start with our supplementary reader book, that is A Pact with the Sun. Your next chapter, lesson 8, A Pact with the Sun. This is a story about a little girl, Saida. Saida was a cheerful young girl who lived in the village of Balampur. She lived with her mother in a tiny hut for the past several months. Saida's mother, Rahima, had been ailing. That means she is not well. She complained of the painful joints, body ache, and weaknesses continuously. Her cough and fever refused to subside. Several physicians treated her, but it was not fine. Rahima showed no sign of improvement. She soon relapsed into her old self. Physician confined her. Small, dingy, airless room that had little sunlight. Rahima had not known fresh air for the months. In a few weeks, Rahima's condition became critical. Her relatives and neighbors pursued her to consult a specialist, even though his fees was likely to be high. Life is more precious than money, they said. Rahima was very poor, but she heeded their advice. She sold off her few trickles she owned to pay the doctor the cost of the medicines he would prescribe. Dr. Abu came. He examined Rahima and prescribed effective but costly medicines. He also advised her to take a nutritious diet. Eat all that you can: chapati, vegetable, milk, fruits, etc. More importantly, he added empathetically, leave this room, move into a bigger room with the doors and windows open. Sit in the sun every morning for at least an hour. Sunshine and the fresh air, he concluded. The doctor and his advice became, medicine for her. Subject of a noisy commentary among the relatives and the neighbors. There were many who opposed it. Exposure to the sun and the air for someone affected with the chronic cough was dangerous. An experienced lady declared. A younger neighbor nearly quarreled with her over this. Too exhausted to participate in the debate, Rahima remained quiet, but was determined to follow the doctor's advice. Forget the consequences, she said at last. I will carry out his instructions to the letter. Move my bed into the next room and let me sit in the sun on my charpoy for an hour daily. I don't want to give the advice of a doctor to a complaint. After all, he is more aware of this. The next 2 days turned out to be a cloudy one, with the overcast by clouds. The sunshine Rahima craved so badly. Rahima was dejected. She muttered, "Oh, Lord of mine, why have you ordered the sun to remain hidden? How will I ever be cured?" Saida was playing with her. She heard her mother lament. Later in the afternoon, she stumbled on a spot of a pale sunshine in the courtyard. She ran to her mother to say the sun wasn't there. No, no, said everybody present. It's too late and chilly. Your mother can't sit out there. Disheartened, Saida returned to her door. There was no sun, really, except for its last remnant entangled in the top branches of the family mango tree. Children are special message of the God, innocent to the core. They have a way, a secret language, unknown to the grown up, though which they fluently, with the trees, flower, animals, the sun and the moon, perhaps even with the Almighty. Saida addressed her request to the departing rays of the sun. Dearest sister, do come tomorrow with the loss of warmth and brightness. You see, my mother is ill and needs your help. Surely, answered the light. Don't look unhappy. We will be there at the fixed hour. Next day, early in the morning, when the sprightly sun rays embellished themselves upon the earth, the sun said, It's our day off again. We are staying up here. The road to the earth is blocked by an armed thick dark cloud. The little ray so much wanted to go to meet the Saidas, but they remained quiet. One of them said, "Dear son, I'm sorry, but I really can't stay back. I have given my words to Saida. Her mother is ill and needs my help. I will pursue through the clouds to reach Saida's courtyard. How else will her mother be cured?" Hearing this, all the race staggered or revolted against their father, the sun, fancying staying back. They said in a single voice, "What will the people of the earth say about us? That we of the heaven have turned liars?" The sun related hesitantly. "Soothe yourself," he said. "Mind your clothes, though. Never mind of clothes. We can always change. But go we must." And the rays rushed towards the earth. The clouds stood guard between them and the Saida's courtyard. The little rays focused their heat, and they're enough. The clouds have to flew. The rays got through, shooting past the beef-yard clouds. Alas, Saida was there in the courtyard, waiting for the rays to arrive. Since morning, she wore a dejected look her face. When she saw the rays, her heart leapt with joy. She jumped with delight. "Amma, Amma, the rays are here. Come out." The old lady eyes welled up with the tears of gratitude. Her chopway was placed in the courtyard. She sat in for an hour, reclining her aching head against it. It has been months she had felt the sun on her hand and the face. Breathing in the fresh air, she thought she was in a new world. Though pale, her face glowed and her eyes shone brightness. She saw her child, too, bathed in sunlight, and kissed her. The morning air brought in a new fragrance from a nearby flowers. The bird chanted a new tone. Saida's mother felt better already. She is fully recovered now, but still, doctor advised an hour of sunlight and a lung full of fresh air every day. Thank you. I hope the chapter is clear to you all. Bye.